Hey everybody. I keep my phone open over there just in case you send me a text message. Welcome to our first Ghost Pivots webinar together, our call. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this call in particular. We might spend more time on future ones, but I want to get everybody up to speed and lay some groundwork for the way that we're going to do things around here. I know some of you are joining us now. So over the course of the next 1 minute or so, here on, if you're watching the recording, I'm just going to be sort of saying hello to everybody and making sure that you can hear me all right, making sure that everything's working properly. That might take 1 or 2 minutes. When you see me turn and begin to write on the screen, that's when you know I'm going to start. So you can even fast forward a little bit here on the recording if you need to. I'm just checking here in our little group. Not hearing from anybody here. Not hearing from anybody there. We're good? We're on? We know we're broadcasting at least, so that's great. All right. That's spectacular. It's good to know that we're all here. This is the first and probably only time that we're going to use YouTube for our member call. It's just the easiest way for us to get up and running right away for everybody. All right. So welcome. The first thing we're going to talk about is time. What a lot of traders will do is they will start trading and they'll get excited about trading and they'll give themselves a very compressed time constraint on how long they're going to give themselves to become successful. And the first thing I want to talk about is giving yourself the most amount of time possible. You want to give yourself, if you can, not just like 1 month or 2 months. You don't want to give yourself compressed time schedules because we got to set everything up. We got to take our time getting everything correct. You got to practice what you're doing. You got to get comfortable with trading if you're brand new. And what'll happen to a lot of people is they'll just say to themselves, "Oh my gosh, I spent a whole afternoon trying to get this indicator loaded on my charts and it didn't work. Forget it. I'm not going to be a trader anymore." And that's ridiculous. So the first thing I want you to do is just remove any notion or any concern about how much time it's going to take to get something loaded or installed or functioning, and just take it easy about all of that. I tend to get really frustrated really quickly about just about everything. But that's not really who I am. In fact, I think the longer we take together and the more time we give ourselves, the better we're all going to do. So that's number 1 on the list. I just want to say I'm here for the long haul. I'm not going anywhere. Your access doesn't get shut off ever. We'll do these calls and I'll keep chatting with you for as long as it takes, forever. So there's no time constraint here. You might have some bills you need to pay. You might have a job that you want to quit. You might have a situation in your life that requires a bunch of money. We're going to get there, but we're not going to get there tomorrow. And I just want to make sure you know I'm with you for the long haul. I've been doing this for 18 years, and the very best years of my trading, the most profitable years, were right after the first 1, 2, or 3 years of being really focused. And I've learned how to compress that time schedule to a shorter amount of time. But there's no way that we can get around the fact that it's going to just take some time to get up and running. Now, along with time goes this idea of patience. I might not use the webinar software that you're familiar with, or we might not use the trading platform that you're familiar with every single time. You might be brand new to trading currency, or you might really want to trade stocks. And I might be talking about currency one day, or you might really want to be trading currency, and then I'm going to be talking about stocks. We're just a small group of traders. We only let like 45 people into the class. So we restricted the membership. We said no to a bunch of people. And we made sure that I'm going to have time for you. With 45 people, Nate, I think it's reasonable that once every 2 months or so, if you want to come down here and you want to visit for a day at the office and you want to sit here at the table next to us and you got some questions you want to get answered, we got a lot of time for everybody here, and I can focus on your needs and help you. And so what that means is you're going to get some individual attention and you're going to get some group attention. So if I'm talking to the group and it doesn't apply to you, I hope you just won't become frustrated. And I hope you know that I'm still willing to spend time directly with you on Telegram Messenger or on a video. I made a video for one of you today to help out, and I'll do more of that in the future. So just remember that with a longer time that we have together, we can do a lot more stuff. You can be way more successful. And that's all I'm going to say about that issue. You can message me on Telegram if you want to while we're talking here, or you can talk to Nate on the YouTube chat. Also with that, from time to time, our software, our call, our live stream might break. The camera might shut off. The video might go down. The microphone might break. I am a professional trader, but we are only lately becoming more professional at broadcasting. All right. Number 2, focus. Now I'm going to drive down into this really deep. You might want to look at charts today. We're really not going to look at charts until Thursday morning, super early in the morning. I'm going to look at charts all the time. I'll be making videos for you all the time. But I want to talk about focus. Some of you are brand new to all of this trading. And some of you have been around the block and you've traded a bunch before. And all of you are welcome here. And I'm really glad that you're all here. But every single one of us, including me, inside of this class is on a journey to become more focused. And I want to say a few words about that right now because I don't think there is anything more important than this. So what most traders will do is they will trade a bunch of different methods, a bunch of different techniques with a lot of different indicators or a lot of different robots, and they will seek profit through frequency. So they will sort of equate number of trades with money. And they'll sort of say, I know there's probably some glare on that screen, isn't there? Yeah. It's not too bad?
It's not too bad.
Okay. So what I want to say about that is, this is common. So you might say, well, I'm not getting enough trades if I only trade on Thursday mornings. Or if I miss the Thursday morning trades, I got to wait all the way till next week. Or you might say, wow, we waited until the 4th of the 5th of the month for ghost pivot trades, and nothing really materialized. Or I stopped out of those trades and they didn't really work, and I'm not getting enough trades. Now, that is equating the number of trades with money. And I want to let you know that there is no correlation between the number of trades you take and the amount of money that you make. What I want to say is this. While you and I are waiting for our trades, and I'm included in this because I'm going all in and focusing with you. I'm changing the way that I do things too. While we are waiting for Thursday to come around for end of week trades, or we're waiting for the last couple weeks of the month to come around for end of month trades, or we're just waiting for the 4th and the 5th of the month for the very beginning of the month trades to come around. While we are waiting for those trades and not trading, there are literally millions of traders pushing the button and losing money, taking a very careless approach to their trading and a shotgun approach to their trading. That is unsustainable. It's unprofitable. And in 18 years, I have never met, not one, zero, I have never met a profitable trading for a living day trader, ever. It's never happened. Don't know them. I have met people who patiently wait for a single kind of setup, a single kind of trade, and who take that. And then the rest of the time, they are thinking, talking, learning, but they're not necessarily trading. Focus means you're going to spend I promised this. I mean, I really meant it when I promised it. I know sometimes it just seems like, is this a big sales pitch? And of course it's a big sales pitch, but you're inside the class now and I'm telling you, it wasn't just a sales pitch. I really mean it when I say the best trades of the week are going to happen on Thursday mornings. The best trades of the month are going to happen at the very end of the month. And some of the very best trades are going to happen on the 4th and the 5th of the month, if those are trading days, or the 2nd and the 3rd of the month, if those are trading days. And that's it. Like that you can compress everything that you do within a short period of time. And so I want to talk about how you do that. And how you do it is you scale it. So the last part of this presentation, I want to talk about scaling and becoming really serious about what you do. All right, I'm going to do a couple drawings on the screen here. I'm going to, instead of looking at a chart, I'm going to draw a formation. Now I'm going to teach you all these different trading systems inside the class. Some of you have already worked through the lessons. One of the trading methods that we are going to focus on is a 4th or 5th of the month trade. And it can work in a variety of different financial instruments, so it's okay if you want to look at stocks or options or currencies or whatever. It doesn't matter. So the 4th or the 5th of the month comes around. And let's say you're just starting out and you've just listened to everything I said, and you're absolutely going to focus on those days of the month. You're absolutely going to just focus on that alone, and you're not going to do anything else, and you've decided you're going to be great at that. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to look at 100 to 200 examples of that trade on the charts over the course of the next, let's say, 3 weeks. You're just going to, and I'm going to do this with you. I'm going to look at 100 examples of the Euro British Pound and let's say the S&P 500, as many as I can. I'm going to go back as far as I have to look at 100 examples of the 4th and the 5th of the month on 1 or 2 financial instruments. That's it. And let's say that next month I take the first beginning of the month ghost pivot trade and I make $10. And I only make $10. And I think to myself, well, that was a giant waste of my time. Or that doesn't seem like that was very effective. However, in the course of that 30 days, here's what you've done. Number one, you've learned how something works, and you've learned it perfectly. You've learned it perfectly. Now, you're going to execute it perfectly later, but you've learned this perfectly. You know this. And over the coming 1 to 2 years, you are going to increase your trade size on these trades. You're still going to focus on this one method and this financial instrument that you're learning so much about. And in the course of the next 12 months, you're not going to have looked at 100 examples. You're going to have looked at 1,000 to 2,000 examples of the way that a couple or a few financial instruments operate at the 4th or the 5th of the month. Now, let me ask you this question. What if together we look at 1,000 examples of how the British pound and let's say the stock market generally, the S&P 500 act on the 4th and the 5th of the month? Let's say we look at 1,000 examples of that. And we've talked about them, we've analyzed it, we've studied it, we know it. And let's say that over the course of that 12 months, that you've gradually increased your trade size month after month after month after month. You're going to be adding zeros to how much you make on that day or in that series of trades that starts off on the 4th or the 5th of the month. Now, in that same amount of time, here is what most traders have done out in the rest of the world. Nothing, or zero, or less than zero. 95% of traders during that time will not know one system perfectly, will not have mastered anything. They will have, if they are lucky, they will have ended up with zero money. And I mean, they will have lost everything but stayed at zero, if they're lucky. Most people will have not only lost whatever they first deposited, but most people will also have lost more than that because they will have made another deposit. Whereas you and I have focused and we've decided to become masters and experts at the way one thing works. Now you have a choice. You have a choice. someone in our group today said, hey, what do you all think about this one currency pair? And my answer was, I don't care about it until Thursday. Someone could ask you, hey, what do you think about the stock market, Katie? And you might say, I don't care about it until the 4th or the 5th of the month. And someone would just go, what in the world are you talking about? In other words, every business has an optimal hours of operation. Every business has an optimal menu focus. If an Asian restaurant starts serving pancakes, that doesn't make much sense. If a pancake restaurant starts serving Asian food, that doesn't make any sense. And if a trader starts doing all kinds of different things, it doesn't make any sense. If we're doing all kinds of different things at all different hours of the day, we're frantic, we're not mastering anything, and we're just losing money. So that's my basic overview of how we're going to start this whole process. I have a couple of these are optional, but I have a couple of books that I've read in the past, and I have the book right there, Nate, off to your right, next to the tie line Bridget on the top shelf is Mastery. It's right next to it. Okay, so I'll just show the book rather than write the title. This little book is absolutely spectacular. George Leonard wrote this. It's really short, and it's all about the process of mastering something and the disappointment that comes along the way, and how this is what the process looks like. You get kind of good at ghost pivot trades at the beginning of the month, and then you plateau for a while. And what most traders will do is they will go, oh, I'm not very good at this. I'm just going to give up on this now. I'm going to quit this. And then this is where they go. That's where most people go. What you and I do together is we wait. And we look at this plateau as a time to watch YouTube videos about becoming masterful at things, reading books like this, talking together in our chat room, helping each other become great, answering questions about basic chart setup. And then when it's prime time for us to trade, we get on it. And then you're going to plateau again. And then you're going to reach that plateau, stay on it for a while, work through all the resistance and the difficulty that comes during that time, and then you're going to take off and go upward. I can't even begin to emphasize how much this has meant in my life as a trader and a business person, as an educator. This is the core lesson of everything that I've ever done well, is this idea that most people are losing because they are unfocused. And you and I have the chance to do something really special together by scaling or increasing our trade size as we master one trading method. Now, a natural question is, wow, should I use robots, or should I trade on Thursdays, or should I trade at the beginning of the month? And those are all really valid questions. And so the reason that I have a small group of us together is so that I can set the goal, I can set the tone, I can set the research, I can tell you what we're going to focus on, and then we can do that together so that each of you isn't authorized to take the entire group off onto some crazy journey into some crazy whatever. So what we're going to do is I will individually work with each of you when you have a question about starting up the robots or whatever. But for me, these are my focuses, and these are the things that I would ask you to focus on with me. So Thursday mornings, I'm going to focus on the British pound currency pairs. And I would recommend that you watch the video inside of our class on the rules of the end of week trade. And then you focus together with me on the British pound. Now, I will post charts for other currency pairs as well, but let's get really good at the best one. And let's do that together. Second of all, 4th, 5th of the month. Now, I use this as a shorthand terminology. That can actually happen on the 29th, the 30th, the 31st, 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. But around the 4th or the 5th of the month are some of the very best ones. We can focus on some stocks that we want, and maybe a couple FX pairs that really turn out to be great during that time. Now when Robinhood, the broker in the US, starts offering options, I'm going to buy my puts and my calls around the 4th and the 5th. Right now I'm just buying stock. Like today I bought, I don't know what I posted, but VVUS and FNJN or whatever. And we'll talk about what to trade and whatever. But we're going to get in the next 12 months, we're going to get so good at a couple of these, or maybe just the S&P 500, for example. We're going to get so good at that it's all we need to do during that one particular time of the month. Now, for those of you that are interested in robots, we have an end of month robot that will just automatically take currency trades in the background all the time. We can run that the entire time we're doing all of this other stuff. It can just be running in the background, which is awesome. So I'm just going to be running this on 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 currency pairs while we're doing everything else that we are doing. And then I'm just going to let that run. I'm just going to let that go, and I'm not going to supervise that too. I'm not going to obsess about this in any way, shape, or form. I'm just going to let that thing run and turn it on and just let it go. And then I'm not going to worry about it. So that can be running in the background, and that's perfectly fine. So I'm going to finish where we started. Let's say you're here and you've set an ambitious goal for making $1,000 a day. Let's say you've set that ambitious goal. Let's first get you your first $10 in a day from a strategy that's consistent. And then let's get you $100. And then we'll move up from there. But we've got all the time that we need. There's no race to the finish line. And we're going to do all of that together. All right, so thanks for being here, everybody. I hope you had a great time. I will leave the comments open on this video inside of our members area. So there's a members area in Kajabi, and we're going to put this recording inside that members area, and I will open up the comments on that. We'll leave this video up on YouTube because it's not too specific about strategies and it doesn't share anything super proprietary. I may even make this video public and let the rest of the world know about this video. And I might even say we want to take 5 more people over the course of the next week that were traveling last week or whatever. So I may put this video up so you can't miss it, that it's easy for you to find or whatever else. So if you're watching this video and by some magical sequence of events you're not a member of the Ghost Pivots class, I may or may not put a link down below, and if I don't, then it's not there. I'm not doing it. But otherwise, I'm so happy you're here inside the class. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for your dedication and your focus and your trust in me. I'm excited to work with you. We're just kind of fade out here over a few minutes because sometimes when we end this video on YouTube, it cuts me off mid-sentence. So Nate, we're just going to engage in some general chat, general whatever.
All right. Well, I'm going to be pushing buttons, as I like to say.
Pushing buttons.